Have you ever struggled with complex formulas, messy data, or spending way too much time analyzing spreadsheets? What if I told you Excel could do the work for you? With Microsoft 365 Copilot, AI can help you clean data, generate insights, and even write formulas, all in seconds. Let's dive in and see how Copilot works in Excel. For our look at Copilot in Excel, I'll start here first in this sales worksheet. It's important to know to use Copilot with your files, they must be saved in the cloud, either in OneDrive or SharePoint, so that Copilot can work its magic. Notice in Excel, in the Home tab of the ribbon on the far right-hand side, here I have Copilot. I'm working with the paid version of Copilot. This is an add-on to my Microsoft 365 subscription. We'll launch Copilot, and first notice the suggestions from Copilot. These are options for getting started, like creating formulas, helping to understand data, maybe digging into more advanced analysis, and of course, we can also get data insights and much more. Well, let's say that I want to apply conditional formatting. That is, formatting based upon criteria. With Copilot, I don't even need to know what the feature is called. So I'll enter in a prompt in this table, highlight the entire row for each entry where the sales total in column J is greater than or equal to 75,000. Let's see what happens. Either hit enter, or here I can also click to send it. It's helpful to know as well that initially Copilot might not come up with the answer or might tell you how to do it on your own. Try again. That is often by simply putting in the same prompt, you will be able to get the answer. And here we can see that it's looking at the data, suggesting a custom formula, and all I need to do is choose apply. So that looks good. Let's zoom out a bit, and here we can see that if the sales total is greater than or equal to 75,000, it is highlighted. Let's test that. Here I'll move to one of those sales entries, and let's say that we make an update to this. Now when I enter this, it will increase the sales total to over 75,000. And notice that we now have that conditional formatting applied. Pretty easy, huh? Let's take this further. My prompt will simply be, rate a chart of sales by region. So Copilot has created a pivot table with a pivot chart to summarize the region data. And I can see that I have this. If I want to include it in my worksheet, all I need to do is add a new sheet. Here's my pivot table and the related pivot chart. How about that? Even if you've never created a pivot table, see how easy this can be. We just need to be specific enough with our prompts so that Copilot can give us the results that we want. If you're new to Copilot and curious about getting started with Microsoft 365 Copilot, click the link above or check out the description below for an overview on Microsoft 365 Copilot. Let's get back to Excel. Here I have pretend employee data, and we can take a different approach with Copilot and have it kind of coach us. My prompt this time is, what questions could I ask about this data? This can be especially helpful when it might not be data that you use all the time, or you'd like to get to know it a lot better. Look at this. What are the total number of employees in each division? How many employees in each department? And it continues. So this is giving me some great ideas for prompts that I could ask Copilot to help me in understanding this data. And we could continue talking to Copilot about this. Some other ways to get help with prompts. Here we have what's called a prompt gallery. So if we come in to view prompts, here are some suggestions that we could dig into further with Excel. You can also filter this based upon the type of task or angle that you want to have for that prompt, and even filter it by industry type. Additionally, we can see other prompt examples from the Microsoft site. So one of the best ways to learn more about Copilot and how it can help you in Excel is to experiment and play with these different prompts so that you can some different insights and angles on your data. Let's try our own custom prompt. Create a chart of the headcount by department. So we see a summary, we can copy that, but here I have my chart. I'll add it to a new sheet. So this is just a table, not a pivot table. It's not linked back to the original data, so you may have to recreate it should the data change. But this can give us a quick summary of this information on the headcount per department. Once again, let's ask Copilot to help us out. Notice this option here, Show Data Insights. And once again, you can see other kinds of suggestions. You can even refresh that list to see more. So I'll pick Show Data Insights. Here it's giving us a few insights. What I'd like to do here is add all insights to the grid. So now we have a variety of different charts that are analyzing that data. Now, some of them we won't need. It's probably not helpful for us to know that in the red division, Peter Plum has the most employees. If we don't need it, we could simply select it and delete it. It only took a few minutes for us to get this information. And notice below, these are the pivot tables that are sourcing those charts. So we have a quick summary of this data in just a few minutes. Pretty amazing, right? Next, let's look at how Copilot can help you to craft formulas in Excel. So let's say that we have downloaded a report. It has a key identifier, like information about the employee, or maybe it's a product code or an accounting code. But we'd like to populate or include other information to make this data more useful to other people that are working with it. Now, some of you may be familiar with how to do this with a VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP or even other functions. But you don't need to know how to create those. We can let Copilot help us out. In this data, I'm going to ask Copilot to add the employee name. I want the last name, comma, first name. And it's going to be referencing the data in the ABC Employees worksheet. Let's see what happens. One of the things that can be really helpful here is the explanation. This is a great tutorial for you to know what happened. And we can see that a VLOOKUP formula was created. And here are the end results. So let's go ahead and insert that column. Notice as I hover over, it's already giving me a sense of what this will look like. It was really that easy. How about one that's a little bit more complicated? For this example, I'd like to add the division manager, but it's not in the ABC Employees worksheet. It is actually in another worksheet here called Division Manager. That is associated with the division, which is in the ABC Employees worksheet. So let's try this one. I don't need to add the division manager into the ABC Employees. I'm going to instead have Copilot help me out by creating a column for the division manager using the data in that worksheet. And it's going to be referencing the division column based upon that employee ID. Let's see what happens. So our formula was created, and it's using index match functions for this. We can get more of an explanation if we want to. And all I'd like to do now is insert that column. And wow, how many hours have you just saved by leveraging Copilot for building formulas? How will you use Copilot in Excel to simplify your work? Do you want to get even more out of Microsoft Excel? Check out thesoftwarepro.com/Excel for more productivity tips or to join my free tips newsletter. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more time-saving software tips. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.